Welcome, family, to another powerful episode of the Economic Liberation of Africa. I'm Peter Greer, your host and moderator, and today we are diving deep into a revolution that's already in motion, but many don't even see it coming. We're calling it the new gold rush, but this isn't about oil, diamonds, or even cryptocurrency. This is about talent, untapped, unmatched, and ready to transform the economic destiny of the diaspora. So here's the question we'll be asking throughout today's episode. What if the key to Black wealth worldwide is already in our hands and it is on the continent of Africa? And I'm not alone. I'm honored to be joined by my brother in the struggle, my co-host and economic strategist, the one and only Gary McCants. Let's set the stage. We've talked about the rollback of DEI, the exploitation of African resources, and the ongoing war on Black wealth. But Gary, when you hear Africa is the promised land, what does that mean in economic terms? You said something powerful the other day. Africa is the solution, not the charity case. And I want our audience to sit with that, because while corporations are pulling out of DEI here, they are doubling down in Africa. In the comments right now, drop one word that comes to mind when you think of Africa's economic potential. Let's rewrite the narrative together. Let's talk facts. While major corporations cut DEI programs in the United States, they continue profiting off Africa resources. Gary, what does that say about their true priorities?
Peter, what that says about these companies or these neo-colonial companies, that they really do not have the commitment to African Americans or Africans in the diaspora. And so the movement now is to look at how we can create our own ecosystem to do business, how we can provide training and development so we can grow the marketplace in the continent and also provide economic development opportunities.
We're talking about software developers, designers, engineers, ready to collaborate, build, and grow. No visas, no borders, just business. Business owners, what roles could you hire out in African talent right now? Drop them in the chat or comment. This isn't about outsourcing for cheap labor. This is about building reciprocal relationships with long-term economic value. One example, African shea butter products getting into Sephora. That's how you turn a local resource into global value. Here's the flip. Black Americans alone control nearly $2 trillion in spending power. Imagine if we redirected just 10% of that back to Africa and our own businesses. Would you switch brands or services if it meant directly supporting Black entrepreneurship or African products? Have you ever bought a product made in Africa? If not, why? And if so, what was your experience? Let us know below. Gary, let's shift gears. This flyer says it all. Tapping African talent as the key to diaspora wealth. That's the new gold rush. Tell our viewers about initiatives like Hire Africa 2025 and Remoting.work's 50,000 plus African professionals ready for remote employment.
Peter, what Black and Global has done, along with Remote.work, has created a partnership between the two companies to provide an easy access for companies, Black companies across the globe to do business in Africa. For an example, there are 4 million Black-owned companies in America, 4 million. And so if we could get 10% of those companies to have easy access to the continent, to provide jobs and opportunities, to create partnerships, the number of 10,000 jobs will probably be 20 to 30,000 jobs over the next several years. So these are the kind of initiatives that are critical to the growth and development of the continent.
This isn't about outsourcing for cheap labor. This is about building reciprocal relationships with long-term economic value.
Peter, you're absolutely correct. This is an opportunity, in fact, this is an opportunity to create those kind of partnerships and relationships we discussed earlier. There's an African continental free trade area that's already designed for the diaspora and the continent to look at economic development opportunities between the states. And I think we have companies right now in America who are already doing business in Africa. So those enhanced relationships and the success of those partnerships and opportunities is only going to boost the economy across the globe.
Thank you so much. One of the most powerful things we can do is engage our youth. Students need to see Africa not as a place of poverty, but a land of potential. Teachers and mentors, how are you talking about Africa in your classrooms and programs?
Peter, absolutely. I think education is significant for the development and providing innovation and transferable skills across the globe. We have historically Black colleges and universities, obviously in America, that can provide the kind of necessary systems that can do that. And we need to focus on that. I mean, this is about the transformation, quite frankly, of the globe and economic development, which will create those kind of partnerships and long-lasting wealth creation across the country.
And across the world.
And across the world.
Thank you. Family, we've covered a lot, from the theft of Black wealth to the rise of African innovation. But here's the bottom line. The new gold rush is ours if we choose to claim it.
And remember, economic liberation isn't just a dream, it's a decision. We can either keep fueling the same systems that lock us out, or we can build our own.
Thank you to our guest host, Gary McCants, and thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Economic Liberation of Africa. The revolution is happening, and it starts with you. Family, we've covered a lot, from the theft of Black wealth to the rise of African innovation. But here's the bottom line. The new gold rush is ours if we choose to claim it. Don't just listen, take action. Hire African talent. Partner with African producers. Support African-led movements like ADDI. What one action will you take after watching this video? Comment below and commit to the movement. Thank you to our guest host, Gary McCants, and thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The economic liberation of Africa. The revolution is happening, and it starts with you.